Hey everybody! Welcome to the Bowls Tabletop half hour?
Yeah.
Hour? Bonus hour.
Bonus hour.
Bonus
the Bowls
hour.
Tabletop bonus round.
If you were here yesterday, Larry and I covered the Blackstone Fortress in great detail. There was a lot of stuff that we didn't get to, and we wanted to come back to you today and talk D&D. So JR.
Yeah.
Let's talk some D&D.
Let's talk some D&D. So Friday saw the release of two like huge. I mean, they're right here. It saw the release of Wizards of the Coast's two latest adventures or books. One is an adventure. One is like a setting book.
Yeah.
They're both brand new. They both do a whole lot of cool stuff for D&D, and I'm real excited to talk about them. We've got Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mage, which is an adventure that's aimed for characters of around 5th level. That'll take them all the way to level 20.
Very cool.
And it kind of takes you through the legendary mega dungeon of Undermountain, which is this like massive 23 level dungeon complex.
23 levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
23 levels.
But more. There's more.
There's more.
There's more.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
The Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is brand new for D&D.
Yeah.
This is the first kind of book of its kind. We've seen Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons get together and like
they're owned by Wizards.
They're both owned by Wizards of the Coast, and James Garfield, not James Garfield, James Wyatt.
James Wyatt.
Richard Garfield designed Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
James Wyatt, who used to be on the D&D team and now does a lot of stuff for Magic the Gathering, wrote a bunch of plane shifts, which are these like little PDFs that you could find that are like, hey, do you want to play on one of these Magic the Gathering planes in D&D? You know, here's how you could do that. Well, this is like that, but it takes the world of Ravnica, the plane of Ravnica, which is this massive city, and it kind of really says, here's how you make this a D&D setting. And all of the stuff in this book is Adventurers League legal if you're playing, or Adventurers legal if you're playing that way. It's been play tested, it's been balanced, there's a lot of like work that's gone into bringing magic to D&D. Very
cool. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, maybe you're not familiar with the Magic setting, Ravnica was a specific block a couple years back.
Yeah.
It was the Ravnica Guilds. It was actually a really fun block. I dabbled in that block. That was about the time I started to not play Magic as much. Just couldn't keep up with all my plastic and cardboard crack addiction, so I had to give something up.
Had to give one of them up.
Yep.
Yeah, Ravnica was like it's a city with 10 different guilds. Yeah. They each represent a different combination of the colors of mana.
Yeah, which is really cool. If you got these standard 5 colors of mana on the mana wheel, and then they breaking off in different parts, and it's just a neat setting. It's a neat. There's a lot of political intrigue too, right?
There's a lot of intrigue.
Yeah,
internecine guild warfare. And
right,
stuff like that.
Right. It's not just a straight up fight in this book in particular. There's not just a clear cut bad guy. It's a lot of interplay.
This book is I mean, there are several bad guys in this book because it's more like a setting. It's like here's the world.
Like the guilds, the guild wise.
Right.
Guilds are there's not a clear cut.
No, every guild is secretly terrible.
Right. There's always bad guys. There's always bad guys.
Right,
but you know what I mean? The guilds themselves are not necessarily like, that guild's the bad guy guild, and that guy's the good... No, it's...
I mean, except for Demir. They're probably, always the bad guys.
They're around for a reason, though. They are around for a reason.
Well, but no one thinks they are. We'll get into that later. But for now, let's kind of talk about...
It's a cool setting is what I'm saying.
It's a very cool setting. I like it a lot. I'm excited to talk about it, but let's put this one down for now and...
Let's
talk
focus
about
on the Mad Mage.
Dungeon of the Mad Mage, because this is an adventure. You're a DM, right?
Yeah.
You are gonna love this book. This is an adventure. This book it's kind of like a toolkit as well as an adventure. So it's a campaign, right? You can play through it. You can go from the beginning to the end.
So if you're a brand new DM and you're like, I want to run dungeons. This
is a great place to start. Yeah, it's like this and Tales from the Yawning Portal are probably two of your best bets.
You want dungeons and want to learn how to run dungeons. I have Tales from the Yawning Portal, excellent book. That actually is in this. It's in Waterdeep.
Yeah, the Yawning Portal is it's in fact the Yawning Portal is the entrance to Undermountain.
I see how they did that.
It takes you down into the first level. And
can we back up just a step here real fast? Now this is part 2 of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist adventure, correct?
Yes.
Sort of, kind of?
Sort of. So, Waterdeep Dragon Heist ends And right about where that ends, this begins.
Okay.
Like there's a little bit of a through line, but you don't have to have played Waterdeep Dragon Heist in order to get the most out of or even enjoy this book to its fullest.
And you can do the whole Dragon Heist adventure and not go to the dungeon at all.
Exactly. Like they fit together well, but they don't need each other to.
Yeah.
They both stand well enough on their own.
Very cool.
And
so they're both complete adventures, but when you put them together, it's like an even better.
Yeah. It's like
a straight line you can draw.
Yeah.
Or
it's a lot
narrative
like
thread. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot like if you watched Rogue One and were a big fan of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
There's all the references there, but you don't need to have seen Star Wars to really enjoy Rogue One or something like that.
I gotcha.
Yeah, right? So that's where this one is, and it kind of picks up, and it works really well. Like if you've played Dragon Heist, because one of the things in Dragon Heist is you get an inn. You get your own little tavern in Waterdeep, which is a perfect base of operations for characters, because this is a 23 level dungeon.
No joke.
Seriously. They have mapped out, I think, most of them, or all of them, I believe. So I'm double checking.
We're going to show off some of the... Can we show off the table of contents real quick?
So they have 20... Like the book spends very little time messing around.
There we go.
Very little time messing around. As you can see, there's like 10 pages of setup, which includes, like some sweet art and stuff like that. But all of that beginning stuff kind of introduces the dungeon and gives you the things that you need to know to run it. And one of the things that I really like about this is that it's like, okay, here's what the dungeon is like normally, except for where it isn't. And so they get all of that out of the way up front, so that you, as a dungeon master, kind of know, okay, this is generally what the hallways and corridors look like. They're usually as tall as they are wide. All of the hallways have arched ceilings and stuff like that.
So it does some description for you initially to set the stage,
right? Well,
and say this is kind of what the dungeon looks like and feels like, and then it gives you notes to say, okay, this is when things get weird,
right? And it's also it gives you the tools to kind of do your own dungeon mastering, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you've run many like campaigns out of the box or adventures out of the box.
I have. Me personally, what I like to do is I like to get those pre-constructed campaigns and read through them and dissect them, and then take the parts that I like and leave the parts I don't.
This is perfect for that, but because there are 23 different dungeons, right? And each one is its own ecosystem, its own level.
Each floor, okay, so you say 23 dungeon levels or actual dungeons?
23 actual dungeons.
Okay.
Like 23 different things that you can go through and experience. And like some of them are kind of linked together, some of them stand on their own. There's like a little each level has its own story, has its own like thing that's going on, like the first level, there's some gangs that like hide out there and try and lure unsuspecting adventurers into giving them money, and you deal with like some hobgoblins and other kind of like level 5 challenges. Okay. Lower down, you'll find like a level where Hallister, he's the Mad Mage, right? Hallister Blackcloak. He built this like obstacle course and
very cool.
Bound a spirit to be like a commentator to try and track the adventurers as they go through it. So you get this like
it's Waterdeep Warrior.
Exactly.
Yeah, American. Yeah. It's like American Ninja Warrior, but it's Waterdeep.
It's in Waterdeep, and at the bottom instead of water, it's lava.
Well, of course.
If you know,
the floor is lava. I played that game as a kid.
There's a beholder in there as well, just hanging out. It's a lot of fun. The book has a lot of personality, and a lot of character, and a lot of humor in it.
Can you give me an example of something that you found that was just like really like one of those personal things that like what makes this dungeon personal to you?
Sure. So on the first level, there's a wandering encounter, because each dungeon is its own ecosystem, and they have this section that's like, here's what dwells here. Yeah. Here's some ideas you could find for random encounters and stuff like that, right? And one of the first random encounters they suggest is you run into a shield golem,
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what a shield golem is, it's like a special magical construct robot that protects a wizard.
Okay.
But its wizard died like 4 levels down, and so now it thinks it's a wizard, and it kind of wanders and tries its best to cast spells.
I almost spit my coffee out just now.
Yeah, like it talks about how it'll run up to the party shouting lightning bolt or something like that. It'll do everything like it's casting spells except for actually cast the spells, and it doesn't fight the party unless you attack it. Like if you get freaked out and attack it, then you gotta fight a shield golem,
which is bad,
tough.
Yeah.
But otherwise it just sort of wanders off, and then later on you can find the amulet for the shield golem, go back up and claim it, make it your friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's this is personal touches
just
that are
like a lot of little flourishes like that.
That's super cool.
Well, I'll get to some of that stuff later. There's some really cool stuff.
I don't want to spoil these dungeons, essentially, these levels, because like the actual dungeon itself, it kind of shifts around, right? Because like I remember reading in the Yawning Portal book, people sell maps, in quotes, maps of the dungeon, but some of those are fake, some of those are legit, but you're never quite sure. Just because the dungeon kind of moves around a little bit, right?
It does tend to change, and it tends to change however the Mad Mage decides to make stuff happen. So, like, for the most part, it'll be the way the characters remember it, but there's license for you to kind of shift things around, rearrange the map. There's on every map, maybe we can show off one.
Yeah.
Because these are some amazing maps. Here, we'll show off. That one looks pretty cool.
Okay. Let's see. Which one is this for?
This is for level
12. Level 12.
12? Level 12. Yeah, this is for level 12, which is the Maze of the Minotaur level.
So spoilers. Yeah.
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 So you can see it kind of like lays out the whole thing, and then up here and down here it says those tunnels lead to expanded dungeons. So like if you really like one of these maps and are like, man, this is really doing it for me, there's your way, like canonically, to just add in more stuff that's there. That
and there is a down to level 13 here, and then there's a up to level 11 here, but you can keep going, as JR pointed out.
Yeah.
You can kind of expand this as your own. And like I said, the whole reason, again, behind this is the Mad Mage manipulates the dungeon how they see fit, which gives players and DMs, or gives DMs license to do pretty much whatever the heck they want with the dungeon.
It's really cool,
Keeps
too.
It fresh.
It kind of shows off, so the whole, they talk a little bit about the lore of Undermountain, and it's built on this like place where the elves used to have their great capital city long ago, and when they left, because I guess elves, they just left.
They just do that.
Yeah. So when they're
nomadic people.
They used powerful magic to erase all traces of themselves from it, but it made this crazy like knot in the weave of magic, and so everything's kind of weird there, and it's what drove Black Cloak insane.
And he's bound to
he's bound to it. It's basically like he's not exactly a lich, but it's basically like his phylactery is the dungeon. Wow. It kind of supports him, and it draws him back no matter how far he roams. And he's kind of altered the way magic works in there. So throughout the whole thing, teleportation doesn't work, plane shift, stuff like that. Like you
good.
Any magic that lets you like transport from place to place or across planes doesn't really work.
Can you still like Dimension Door limited, or is it just all teleporting stuff?
Don't remember offhand. I think most teleport stuff is out. I think like stuff that lets you go through the border ethereal plane, so like etherealness or blink or stuff like that still kind of works, but like
teleport at your own risk is what I'm hearing.
Or don't. You can try and it just won't happen.
Yeah. So that gives the DMs leeway to be like, nope, your spell fizzles.
Yeah. Exactly, and also it sets the stage for, so like in that obstacle course level, if you try and fly, the fly spells shut down automatically, and it sends you plummeting into the lava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go through it legit, or don't try it at all.
Much.
Wow.
falling in lava is bad, but not fatal at the levels you're going to encounter it at. You'll probably be fine.
You'll probably bounce or swim through the lava.
Especially if you've got fire resistance. Anyway,
depends on how far you fall and how generous the lava hit is. Right?
But so one of the things that, before we kind of got sidetracked, one of the things I wanted to talk about is in the dungeon there's a lot of description of what the dungeon is like, but there's no boxed flavor text to read out, right?
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool.
You're talking about the text that's typically in like italics. It's like in a box. It's like read this to the players.
Yeah, there's no like read this to the players section. This book is I think going to help a lot of people get their dungeon master. It's like take the training wheels off for DMs, right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of those other adventures out there that will handhold you and have like, hey, read this to the player boxes. Yeah. But you're saying that this one is like
it doesn't really have that. It's like these are the details. It's up to you to describe this place. Here's the tools. Now build this Lego, right?
Ooh. Right? Here's the instructions.
Yeah.
Here's the template.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Exactly.
And chop it up. That's what I like to do. I like to chop it up.
Exactly. Chop it up. Yeah. Mix it the way you want. Which I think is really, really cool. It appeals very much to my style of dungeon mastering as well.
Yeah.
I like to let people just kind of go wild, and I like, you can find so much inspiration in this.
Yeah.
One of the things I love is how interwoven it is.
Yeah.
So like each dungeon is its own story. It has its own like thing that's going on.
I was about to ask if there is. I know it's 23 levels, but is there an overall story, or is like, am I going to rescue the farmer's daughter at the 23rd level, or are we just exploring, or
so
is there a narrative thread that ties all this stuff together? Other than the Alice Blackcloak, but like
yes and no. So there are a lot of like quests that will kind of take you further in.
Okay.
But they're not like. I think a big reward for this book is just exploring and seeing what comes next.
Okay.
Depending, they list out Hallister's goals. So, like, depending on what the players are doing, he might show up and encourage them to explore further or not go further. And like, there's stuff that affects the surface. On one of the levels, there's a colony of mind flayers, for instance.
It's got to be farther down there.
it's further on down, but like you might want to go deal with that. And as you go, you hear rumors of treasure or other things further deeper into the dungeon. Depending on what the players are doing, they may or may not have reason to fight Hallister Blackcloak, who is in the book. He's got his own stat block, and it's pretty amazing.
I wouldn't want to fight the guy in his own dungeon.
He's got Meteor Swarm and Wish. So
it's going to be bad news. Speaking of bad news, was there a particular level that you read or got to and were like, this is the one that calls to me, this is the one that I want to check out the most? Spoilers, obviously. But.
Yeah, so spoiler alert. But yeah, so there's, I guess it's really like 3 levels, but it's so I told you about the Mind Flayer colony.
Yeah,
one of the levels is another one that's been overtaken by the Gith. The Githzerai and the Githyanki.
Yeah, and they hate Mind Flayers.
They hate Mind Flayers more than they hate each other. So
which is a lot.
Which is a lot. So they've teamed up to try and like take out this colony of Mind Flayers and drive them back. And one level is their sort of.
So you got like the Gith level,
yeah.
You've got the Mind Flayer level.
And then you've got another level that you can go to, and I don't want to give away anything more than one of the areas on it, but one of the levels has something called the Star Dock. And there's a map of an asteroid. And that's all I'm going to say about it. But like there's so much cool stuff, and that's just like a tiny section. Comparatively, like you can find everything. There's like dungeons that have a more serious horror kind of theme to them. There's like classic, crawling through tombs and traps looking for adventures. There's like wacky zany fun times, which is like the obstacle course.
Yeah.
This book has a lot of it showcases the creativity of D&D well.
That's crazy. So one of the things I really liked about the Yawning Portal is that you basically had 7 classic dungeons, and if you had never run a dungeon before, they were really good templates, but they were all very much classic dungeons. There was classic D&D. When you think of D&D, you think, maybe it's
go into an abandoned castle or some ancient ruins.
Go through the tunnels. You think of the old dungeon crawl PC games, or just tunnels and torches, and you're walking through tunnels and torches. That should be a name of a game. Anyway, you're just walking through and corridors and fighting a beholder here and there, but the things you're describing are like going to 11 with that idea of what a dungeon in D&D really looks like.
Yeah,
so
it's cool. Really cool.
And I would. It sounds to me like this is definitely a book that if you are a DM, you want to read through it, you want to flip through it, you want to crimp stuff from it. You want
you want to find what works for you and what doesn't, and it's. I mean, good artists borrow, great artists steal, right? Whatever your medium is, and so if lift this stuff whole cloth for your own campaign. There's so much inspiration and so much fun stuff and so much creativity on display. It got my brain firing just reading through this last night.
I know that Waterdeep, the Dragon Heist Waterdeep, was a great template for what a metropolis or what a city
running an urban adventure a city is like.
And not just here's some maps of streets, but also how to make the city feel alive.
Right.
There's people interacting it, even if the players aren't necessarily there. There's still stuff going on.
Right.
This sounds like this is what a dungeon template should feel like, and there's stuff going on even if the players aren't there. Like you mentioned the bandits at the first couple levels. Obviously, there's a Gith and Mind Flayer war going on at the lower levels.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a Stardock.
There's and in the book, after players clear a level, there's a section called Aftermath for each level where it talks about depending on what the players have done, here's how things might change.
Wow. Do we go full Renegade or Paragon?
Exactly. And it kind of encourages you to reflect that Renegade or Paragon path.
Ooh.
And kind of the monsters might come back, new monsters might be in. So even going back to where you were can be an adventure in and of itself.
Wow. So you clear a level, but you didn't clear the level.
Right.
I mean, it's like you said, each level, each dungeon is its own ecosystem, but they bleed into each other.
And Hallister Blackcloak is roaming around, and he's like, "You killed all of my monsters," and he's obsessed with perfecting Undermountain and defending it and populating it. So he'll just go bring some new guys in and drop them off.
Oh, you killed all those level 1 goblins. How about some level 5 orcs now?
Yeah,
have fun with that.
A wizard did it. And He's the wizard that did it,
and he done did it.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Again, this is a perfect companion to Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally run that whole book and then pick up this one and
this one right where it left off.
You could just use Waterdeep as a backdrop.
Yeah.
You can use this book to sprinkle those dungeons, adventuring to for your players to go into those. You could use a whole dungeon and just transpose it to your campaign and just be like, there's this random dungeon now that you need to go check out. Or
you could
not so
have,
randomly.
You could have Undermountain be a place that your adventurers keep coming back to, right?
Yeah.
You could go do other stuff and then come back and be like, all right, now we're stronger. Let's go deeper. Let's see what else we can find.
It reminds me, I think it was Pillars of Eternity, the PC game.
Yeah,
had that Kickstarter dungeon that they did based on Kickstarter. So I think it was 12 levels, and it was one of those dungeons in your home base that you would go down, you'd clear a couple levels, and you'd get to a level like, oh, I can't fight these guys; they're too strong.
Right.
You leave, go do some adventuring in the real world, and come back and be like, oh, now I'm strong enough to go take on these challenges and see how much further I can go. This is what that sounds like.
That's what that is, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome because those type of books are so good and so useful. So absolutely,
and again, this is kind of in their home base.
Yeah,
if you've got that in Waterdeep.
Yeah.
So definitely recommend checking it out. It's quite fun. Let's talk now about Ravnica.
Yes, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica.
Yeah.
This is a new setting.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, it takes place obviously in Ravnica with the 10 different guilds. Well, 9 and a hidden...
9 and a 1/10 guild that definitely doesn't exist anymore. Wink.
Right. It does borrow heavily from Magic and the Planeswalker, that whole setting. Can you talk a little bit about just some of the different stuff in this book that you wouldn't see in a typical?
Let's show off the table of contents, and I can kind of speak on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fun stuff in this book. There are new races. There's a new spell. There's a whole bunch of new backgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's got something for players. It's also got a lot of stuff for dungeon masters as well. There's new NPCs and monsters and things like that in here. So there's something.
Yeah.
There's a little something for everyone.
Okay.
And some of the stuff that you'll see in this book that you won't see in other D&D books is some of the new stuff that's Magic the Gathering specific. So like there's the Loxodon.
Yeah.
They're a race of elephant people.
Pretty sweet.
And they're in the book. You can play one. And
that's awesome.
You get a trunk that it can't wield a weapon, so there's no triple wielding. Cause I think Wizards learned that lesson back with the Thri-kreen in third edition.
Yeah.
Because they were like the go-to for broken nonsense. But they're here, and
I remember the old Locks on a Warhammer and all that stuff. Yeah,
and you can totally wield one. I think
magic
that even
item.
might be one of the magic items in here. I don't.
Nice.
Yeah. You can play as a Vidalkin, which is like a weird 4-armed blue guy.
Cool.
You can play as a Simic hybrid.
Okay.
So crazy mutants, all kinds of fun stuff in here.
Can you talk a little bit about Ravnica itself and the setting itself?
Yeah.
Because
so
we mentioned the guilds. But
Ravnica
what is Ravnica?
Ravnica is basically a plane or planet. It's a whole world that is.
Dude, there's
a city.
Minotaurs in here.
Yeah, there's Minotaurs in here. Minotaurs and Centaurs.
Minotaurs and Centaurs.
Yes, and you can no longer ride on your Centaur friends because they're medium sized. It's like pony
and
goblins. Centaurs.
Oh, these would be Magic the Gathering goblins,
right?
Which are just like okay.
And they've got rules for talking, like including all of those.
Sorry
things in there.
to sidetrack, but
no, it's fine.
Loxodons, Minotaurs.
Awesome. There's the Vidalkin, the Simic hybrids.
Yeah. Hey, Mars, can we go to the overhead real fast?
You guys want to check these guys out?
Yeah, I want to show these races off because these are different.
They are not like normal D&D.
You've got your elves. You've got your humans.
Right.
We've got centaurs. We've got goblins, which are, again, these are Magic the Gathering goblins,
right.
Slightly different from regular quote air quote goblins.
Right.
Loxodon, which are the elephant people, which are awesome. Mm-hmm. We've got Minotaur, which now I want to play one.
Right.
Because
they're the best.
Kaz the Minotaurs and the man. Simic hybrids, which are the 4-arm dudes, man. Wow.
No, they're the 4-arm dudes are these guys.
Oh.
They're the mutants.
Mutants, yes.
So when you play one, you like pick like what kind of different mutant creatures you have.
A turtle.
Yeah.
Turtle.
You can have a hard shell, like pizza.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that was just some of that. Okay, so back to the actual setting. Yeah.
So the whole world is a city.
Yeah.
And it's this. They call it it's got 10 guilds which kind of run everything.
Yeah.
So there's like. If you want to find laws, you talk to the Azoria Senate. If you want to enforce them, you might talk to the Boros League.
Okay.
There's like a lot of technological and magical innovation happening in this city.
Yeah.
So it's got like some magitech and like weird.
I want to talk about that real quick before we keep talking about this. Well, let's come back to the magitech stuff.
All right.
I want to talk setting, so keep going.
So and this book kind of takes you through each of the guilds.
Because this is a metropolis.
It's a massive metropolis.
Yeah.
There are some like natural areas, but they're within the confines of the city.
Okay, like parks almost.
Yeah, like parks, or there are these weird sinkholes that have been opening up that are like flooded and full of weird underwater stuff. The sewers of Ravnica are kind of this like underworld of caves and other things where all the waste goes, and there's a guild there that kind of is like. Crazy nature people, and they're all about decomposition and waste and the cycle of life and death.
Yeah.
As the Golgari swarm.
Yeah.
They're all about mushrooms and fungi. And,
fun guys.
Yeah.
Fun guys to hang out with.
The Circle of Spores druid is in this book.
Oh, there you go.
The
Minotaur Circle of Spores druid. Come on.
It can be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna do it.
You should. So talking about the city, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of take you through how each of the guilds fits into it because they want you to know how to build a party that works and plays in this city.
Okay.
They even have some suggested, like, here's how you could build a party that all works together. They've got suggestions for, like, how these guilds that are often at war with each other might find common ground. How to handle, like, some inter-party conflict.
Okay. Because this isn't all... The guilds aren't in, like, open war all the time.
Right. They in fact, can't outright do it because of Magic the Gathering nonsense. One of the planeswalkers showed up and is like, I will become the guild pact. And so...
which was, I think, another block. But...
It was another block.
Yeah.
Guild pact, in
was
fact.
the guild...
when Jace Beleren became the living guild pact. And so... But he's not around.
He's not around all the time.
A lot of stuff could... You know, you can get up to all kinds of shenanigans.
Is Jace in this book? Because he's had quite the career.
They talk about him, but they don't give stats for him.
Okay, because he went from like a arena brawler to like a druid, and planeswalker. He's had quite the arc for Jace. Okay.
Always blue.
Oh well. Now, so real fast back to the circling back around again. The Magitech stuff.
Yeah.
Magitech. We're calling it Magitech because it's from Final Fantasy, but
right.
But technologically, where does this setting fall? Is this more like steampunk with magic? Is like kind of like Eberron, or is it?
There are places that feel like that. There are places that don't.
Because I know when Eberron came out, it was steampunk magic. It was a cool setting. It felt like the Magitech stuff from Final Fantasy. It felt like
absolutely
we had crystals with airships and all this other stuff. And this is somewhere around. Yeah,
this is somewhere. Parts... So there's the city is massive, and so like all over the place you'll find places that have that kind of stuff, and that don't. There's one of the guilds is the Is It League, and they're all about like weird techno magical innovation and like building.
Is it magic? Is it tech? Is it both?
Who knows? Yeah. And like you can see on the cover, that's someone from the Is It League. And
they have crazy gauntlet and
lightning.
Is that an artificer? Or is that like a new class?
That is not the artificer that a lot of folks are waiting for. That's still being worked on. That is still in the works. The last we heard about that, we'll be maybe seeing it early next year in Unearthed Arcana. Again, because they're still kind of playtesting it and cooking it, but they are still working on it. That seems like something they do want to bring into the game.
Cool.
And a lot of people are asking for that, and the Mystic, which is the psionic character.
Okay, cool. Before we go on any further about this one real fast too, I wanted to check in. Mars, do we have any questions we can talk? Okay, just want to double check because there's a lot of stuff we're covering here.
There's a lot of stuff.
I think everybody's kind of intently listening.
So. Okay. Yeah, if you guys do have any questions, we'll try to get drop them in chat. We'll field them as best we can.
Otherwise, we'll keep talking about this book.
Okay, keep going. So Ravnica.
They kind of walk you through like not just what is in the city, but how to adventure in it.
Okay.
They give you a lot of like, here are some different adventures that you might have.
Very
here
cool.
are all of these moving parts, and here are some different ways that they fit together. So you might be able to really enjoy making them work. So
real fast. I want to read off. I just want to read off the races real fast. We touched on those. So human, elf, centaur, goblin, Loxodon, minotaur, cynic hybrids, Vilcanen. Then the two new classes or subclasses here.
Right.
We have the Circle of Spores Druid, which we mentioned.
Right.
And then the Order Cleric Order Domain.
Right.
So can you talk about real quick the Circle of Spores Druid, how that's different, what that kind of that class is?
So the Circle of Spores Druid is a druid that's all about the cycle of life and death.
Okay.
They're all about like the decomposition and bringing new life from death and all that good stuff.
Okay.
They might view undead as kind of a practical thing for a little while before they too serve their purpose. And
I think that was the green and black guild.
That's the green and black guild.
Yeah. I liked some of their cards quite a bit when I was.
They're a ton of fun
because it was life, death, and it was everything was a cycle for them. Very cool.
It's very cool, and everything's a cycle for the druid. Mechanically, the class is really fun to play.
Yeah,
like, it's a blast. Druids are a surprisingly good class for like making a gish or a spellcasting melee class. Like
I want to say too. I think in 5th edition, druids got a lot better.
Well, they
just in
definitely did,
but
And this one is really cool. You'll spend a lot of time in your. You won't spend as much time like wild shaped for combat, but the way into a different animal, but you will still wild shape in fights because it kind of changes the way your class works. So instead, wild shape for you just kind of means like you activate this like colony of spores that lives all around you.
Ooh, very cool. What about the new cleric, the order domain?
The order domain cleric is it's just a new domain for clerics. They're all about civilization and order and law. Okay. They're about sort of building bastions of like order, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
In the middle of everything. They have some really cool buffs and are particularly amazing with like the enchantment spells that can kind of control people.
Okay.
If you want to hold person or do like weird dominate monster kind of things, like that's a very good class for you. They offer a really good buff for the party. They're not quite like the warlord of 4th edition that some folks might remember, but they have shades of that, right? Okay. They're a really cool like frontline support class, which is really fun to
That's always a fun thing to do, especially because clerics. A lot of people want to play clerics or want you to play a cleric as like a heal bot,
right?
And that's necessary sometimes, but it's kind of boring.
It is.
So it's nice to have a frontline support character that's like, I'm going to be in the mix, I'm going to be in the fight, and I'm still going to be able to do my thing.
I'm going to heal us by making you guys kill them better so that I don't have to cast healing spells.
Right. I wanted to check real quick too. Magic items in terms of like, are there any specific?
There are. So there are a whole bunch of cool stuff. There's like 10 pages of magic items. So if you want, we can show off.
Yeah, I want to show some of these off. I don't want to show them all off because, but there's quite a few in here.
There are. If you want like a really fun one, I'll say, which one was it? It's the Pyro Converger.
Okay. So, let's read this one off. What does this one do?
It's an uncommon magic item, and it's an Is-It device, and it is it's a flamethrower, basically.
Yes!
It's a flamethrower. You create a 10-foot cone of fire. Every creature within it makes a DC 13 saving throw, and takes 4d6 damage on a failed save or half on a success. So it's kind of like a mini burning, a slightly smaller burning hands. And you can use it, but every time you use it, you run the risk of it malfunctioning, and if it malfunctions, it blows up.
Okay,
and then
so
you take.
This is how the malfunction works. Each time you use the Pyro Converger, roll a d10, add the number of times you have used it since your last long rest. Mm-hmm. If the total is 11 or higher, the Pyromancer malfunctions. You take 46 fire damage, and you can't use the Pyromancer again until you finish the long rest. So you do have to take a break from using it.
Right.
Or you can push your luck.
You can push your luck and use it until it explodes in your face.
The first shot, you're probably not going to detonate.
Right.
But...
And the second one, probably not. The third
second one, you got a 10% chance.
Yeah,
and then it's just
going to
go
use it like 4 times before it's a problem.
Well,
I'd use it 6 or 7 times before it's a problem, really.
You would just use it until it explodes, and then you'd take a long rest and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. The other one that I want to talk about, so there's, again, showing off some of that like Magitech stuff. There's the Mizium Mortar.
Okay.
Which, as you might expect, is a mortar. It's made from Mizium, which is a new magical material that's been invented by the Is-It League.
Of course they have.
And you can...
is it magic? It is now.
It is now. It's got 4 charges. You can use it to either create a molten spray.
It's 4 charges per day?
Yes, 4 charges and it regains them, so you can kind of keep using it. You can do a whole bunch of fire damage in a 30-foot cone, 5d4 fire damage in a 30-foot cone, or if you spend 3 charges as one action, you can create a mini fireball.
Nice.
Where every creature takes 5d8 damage in this like 20-foot radius cylinder. So basically, you launch magic explosions at people.
Very cool. Can we talk real fast about some of the new creatures.
Yeah, so they've taken a lot of Magic the Gathering creatures.
Heck yeah.
And translated them into D&D stat blocks.
Yeah.
So like you've got the Boros Angels are represented in here. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of new angels. Like it's a significant chunk. There's like 3 new ones. There's
Firemane
the
Angel, yeah, I remember.
Battle Force Angel, the Firemane Angel, the Death Pact Angel, because there's the Archon of the Triumvirate, which is like these guys kind of enforce guild law and keep people from fighting.
I want to keep going here. If there's any
absolutely.
Master of Cruelties, those are new demons. Ooh, a Philiodar. Okay, this is like a lion.
It's like it's a celestial lion. Some of them have wings, some of them don't. They're just like a cool horned fantasy lion guy. They have new giants. They have new just a ton of new monsters in here that are a ton of fun. They've got a lot of that Magic the Gathering flavor.
Oh yeah, I feel like some of these I've seen before.
Some of them are like the Flux Charger.
Flux Charger, yeah.
They have they have a category of beasts that are all like Simic inventions. So yeah, well, and it's really cool because they have they're based on like categories. So it kind of reminds me a lot of like.
Mars, can we zoom in on this guy?
Oh yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Pacific Rim,
Oh yeah.
Class 5.
Class 5 Kaiju alert. Look at this guy.
That's the Nivik Cyclops.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just like the gauntlets on that thing.
Yeah, look at that thing.
It's crazy looking.
They are mean as well.
What's the CR on this guy?
The CR on this guy?
He is a CR 8. Okay, challenge 8.
He's got magic resistance. He can punch you with his punch
multi-attack,
gauntlets.
slam. Yep.
Or he can cast he can try and steal the energy from your spell. So like,
you know what it looks like? Kind of. Do you remember that Vin Diesel movie with the necrotech people with the masks? Kind of.
The Chronicles of Riddick.
Chronicles of Riddick. Yeah. Kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Very cool looking. There's so many cool monsters in here, guys.
And they play with each other very well. And some of them have like new different kinds of mechanics. Some of them are just like really fun monsters that you maybe haven't seen elsewhere. You get a lot of like.
I do want to show off. There's a couple. Let me show those angels back off too.
Yeah, show those angels off.
Because I recognize some of these from the Magic, obviously, from the Guild Pack and from Ravnica and stuff like that. So, just cool. There's a whole list right there. I think from the bestiary here. Just all the different stats, creatures you can find. Let me slide that over for you. Yeah. It's just cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And there's you were kind of at the end of it there. I think we've maybe got time to show off one or two. They have NPCs as well.
Yeah.
So if you want humanoid enemies that aren't just monsters, there's a ton of stuff that you can kind of draw from as well. And that's like right after this one. They talk about like
is that crazy looking?
Yeah, that guy.
Skip ahead.
Back to the Crassus. Here, we'll show off maybe one or two of them.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot, and we're flipping through this upside down now. So.
So bear with us. But yeah, like you get NPCs for each guild. So like the Azorius Senate, right? They've got their law mages and their precognitive mages. So if you want to do
precog,
if you want to do Minority Report, there you go, right? And every guild gets this treatment. They have some monsters. They have some suggested adventures that people might go on if they're working for them.
Yeah.
Or they have like adventures that might take you against them.
That is super cool, and this I think this is really cool because just like with Dungeon of the Mad Mage, where you could take bits and pieces of it and use it at your leisure, you could totally do the same thing with this book. It's designed to be used as a campaign book overall, but you could totally use monsters' abilities, stuff like that. And you did mention the Adventures League if you're playing in that. This is Adventures League legal, so. It's a printed product from D&D, so
you can just take them in there and go to it. I like this one kind of makes me want to do it just to play like a Minotaur or something.
I want to play Minotaur.
Yeah,
yes, sign me up.
I guess we both want to play Minotaurs.
Yeah, we'll be the Smash Bros.
Yeah, totally.
Real fast too. You can find these books in select stores right now.
Yeah.
You can find these in select stores right now. I think they came out Friday. On the 20th, they'll be in wide release. You can also find them on D&D
Beyond, which is fantastic. I love the D&D Beyond version of Dungeon of the Mad Mage because it's like hyperlinked, and so a lot of the stuff is kind of so you can like. Yep. Anyway. You can.
We
click.
had a note. Mars, what was that one more time?
So one of the things that I want to talk about real quick is we're gonna be We've got a review of Dungeon of the Mad Mage up on our site now. I'm reviewing this one as well. But every day on Bulls we kind of talk about D&D and other RPG content.
Come check us out on the main site, bellasouls.net. We do D&D every single day. We do RPG content every single day. We try to cover as much of the tabletop industry as we can, including all of your favorite RPGs.
All things role-playing games. I love talking about like the design of dungeons. One of the things that I want to do, like maybe next week or for a little while, is kind of take you through some of the levels of Dungeon of the Mad Mage and look at like here's what this one kind of teaches us about running the game, or like take you through some of the cool stuff in Ravnica. So we will do more than just review them. We want to kind of bring you along with them and kind of. Ask your questions. Leave us some comments. We'll
for sure. And me personally, I read JR's D&D stuff all the time because I steal stuff from him to run in my home campaigns all the time. So he's got tons of really great ideas, and these are all really helpful. If you're a new DM, definitely check these out. If you're a veteran DM, hopefully we've got some ideas for you to help that out too. But we want to hear back from you guys. Check out our articles on the website. Again, bellasouls.net, and just come hang out. Join the community. Again, lots of D&D content for everybody. Lots of RPG content. It's not just D&D. We were talking about L5R the other day because
we're gonna have a review and some fun articles on that coming up real soon as well.
Which is another fun system.
It's a ton of fun. There's like. We are living in a golden age for role-playing games right now. Like
absolutely,
you have so much cool stuff. D&D is huge. It's the biggest it's ever been. And that kind of rising tide has lifted up all the other boats. Like so, you get L5R and Starfinder and Wrath and Glory back there, and all this
Wrath
other
and
stuff.
Glory. Oh man, that's another great one.
So check us out, folks, because we.
As the RPG industry only gets bigger, we just try to cover more and more of it. So just come check us out. But we actually went way longer than I thought we were going to go today.
Yeah, we did.
So that was, I guess, the Bulls bonus tabletop hour this week.
There you go. You're all welcome.
Yeah, I'm Adam Harry.
I'm JR.
We're obviously from Belle La Souls. Come join us. Come check us out.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.